Thank you for your support. Our content is hard to monetize on social media platforms. Visit theusmilitarynews.com to watch our latest videos and become a $3 monthly supporter. We can't afford to keep making this show without your support. The donation will be partly deducted by us to support the Animal Rescue Fund. Visit the link below the description or go to website theusmilitarynews.com, then select Support Us. Click PayPal or fill out the form to become a supporter. Nick Fleming RVGCR Intel Update July 21, 21. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website theusmilitarynews.com. Nick. Please feel free to quote me. As a former SVP commercial banker with Bank of America, as a currently licensed Series 24 principal FINRA trader, Series 24 must manage, monitor and approve all securities transactions of Series 7 traders. And as an internationally licensed attorney in banking and securities, I can speak with absolute certainty about traders and the role they play versus banking and the Fed monetary system. Traders are not bankers. They have no role in the monetary policies of sovereign countries. They have no role in the money supply of sovereign countries. They do not dictate or control anything regarding banking. Their sole purpose is to provide market liquidity. In other words, traders serve the purpose of providing the free open market exchange of the world's currencies. Many know this as the foreign currency exchange, or Forex. Again, this has nothing, nada, zero, zilch to do with monetary policies, the banking system, the current global currency reset and/or Nasara, GESARA. These are all government and banking functions. Here in the US, that includes the US Treasury, the Federal Reserve and the banks they lend money to, as part of the US monetary policies and US money supply. Hence, any information originating from traders regarding the GCR, currency redemption centers, currency exchanges, which are not T5 open market exchanges, is misinformation. That's like going to the produce department and asking the clerk what's the difference between a New York cut and prime rib. Yes, both are part of the same grocery store services. But each serve different purposes. Regards, James Bradley Caparoni. Ellipsis. There's no chance of a significant RV. Too much dinar in circulation. Only with the success of Iraq's economy can the dinar go up in value. Iraq has lots of work to do. Iraq has many laws to pass to create the conditions for investors to come in and rebuild the economy. Via ZIG. There will never be an RV of the Iraqi dinar, it's just not how monetary policy works, and as I've already mentioned, there's too much currency in circulation. In the talk of reducing the money supply, it can't be done because they currently use the auctions to maintain the exchange rate, which is a balance between dinar and dollar. The only way they can reduce the money supply is to float the currency and allow it to gradually rise over time, and at the same time they could reduce the currency. But again, they have to float the currency first and make it internationally recognized so that they have an alternative to the auctions before they could ever reduce the money supply. I don't expect anything to happen this year because Iraq doesn't pass the laws and create any condition for investors to come in. If you read any of the articles or news coming out of Iraq, you will see it is nothing but complaints about how difficult it is to do business with Iraq. Mark Z. Via PDK. Do you think the RV will happen this month, Mark? I think it will happen this month, but I have been wrong before. We are still seeing solid movement and that makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Ellipsis. My sources are in a much better frame of mind about where we are than they have ever been. It's a slow steady rollout. Not as fast as we would like, but it is rolling out. Hopefully by the weekend we see the release of 800 numbers and links. This is just based on the progress we have seen so far. For those of you following the Eid holiday in Iraq, it ends on Friday. There had been a lot of documentation and articles in Iraqi news that they had wanted to get redemption instructions before the holiday. It didn't happen. But this Friday timing fits with what we are seeing, and we are watching it closely. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation being sown right now. You need to do your due diligence and not have a knee-jerk reaction when you hear things. That it has gotten this crazy means we are close. There is no negative news. Things are still moving, just not as quickly as we all would like. Pimpy. Article. Al-Kazemi's advisor. There is no change in the dollar exchange rate. Still talking about the rate change. Why? If you're saying this rate change is not going to happen this year, why do you continue to talk about it? That doesn't make no sense. If you're trying to tell us the rate change is supposed to stay the same for the next 3 to 5 years, then why are you talking about it? Obviously it's being talked about between the powers that be. And it's being talked about a lot, to the point that this guy has to keep coming out and saying that it is not happening. So we will see. Frank 26, KTFA. I see people calling me about bonds. Bonds? What about bonds? Yeah, well you know they're doing them and that means that it's going to happen. What's going to happen? What does bonds have to do with the Iraqi dinar monetary reform? Ellipsis. I'm not making fun of anybody, but you have to be careful where you get your information. Some guy called me and say, "Hey Frank, the paymasters just approved the monetary reform." Paymasters? Of what? Frank, the GCR is on. The what? Frank, they just signed an NDA. What? What does a non-disclosure agreement have to do with any of this? I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. Mountain Goat. Article. Al-Kazemi's advisor. Not to rely on oil prices because they are unstable, to change the dollar exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar. What I believe Saleh is saying is that they should take the dinar off the de facto peg to the dollar as it is fixed and dependent on oil prices. We know the only way to do this is to reinstate it back on Forex, put it in a basket of the 5 other currencies and get off the sole peg to the US dollar and then to float it. This way it will not be so subject to oil prices alone. This should have been done years ago. Breitling. Question. Would you please explain the difference between a managed float and free market float? Iraq has a couple of options depending on the business strategic partnerships they have. If it gets to the point where it's too messy, everything is moving too much, they are going to go with a managed float. But if the markets open up and they are looking at what you and I are looking at, where the world's money supply is going to double by 2032, then they want a real market rate. All it is that's going to dictate for you is the speed of the value going up. That's going to dictate how long you're in this investment. It's not a negative thing, you do not want to be in an investment forever. There's more opportunity coming down in completely different sectors than Iraq that will blow away what you and I are doing, especially if it revalues and you have money. It's a game changer. You need to have an exit strategy. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website theusmilitarynews.com. Thank you for your support. Our content is hard to monetize on social media platforms. Visit theusmilitarynews.com to watch our latest videos and become a $3 monthly supporter. We can't afford to keep making this show without your support. The donation will be partly deducted by us to support the Animal Rescue Fund. Visit the link below the description or go to website theusmilitarynews.com, then select Support Us. Click PayPal or fill out the form to become a supporter.